Hey guys, Claire here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. Now, Suits has reclaimed the #1 streaming spot with nearly 1.8 billion minutes viewed between Netflix and Peacock. Wow, that's crazy. Now, we also saw that Harry and Meghan returned from their quick holiday in the Grenadines, and of course, the little baggie that we saw some blurry photos of her wearing quickly sold out. Besides that, it's been very quiet in Camp Sussex, but of course, the tabloids carry on with their non-stories, recycled stories of yesteryear. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a vast majority of people have finally seen that when it comes to Harry and Meghan, the stories that come from the British tabloids, it's just nonsense. They're basically career trolls.
So obviously I've had some time off, but the UK media have not taken any time off in talking about Harry and Meghan. Let's go. Firstly, oh my god, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry pictured holding hands. Holding hands. Can you imagine a married couple holding hands? And obviously they're not allowed to have any money, so let's talk about how much money they've got and how much they've spent. And you might, like me, read this headline and think, this is old, Matt. No, this is the 14th of October, 2 days ago. They're still talking about this nonsense. Again, Daily Express, old news. No, this is headline today. Again, shocked face. Holding hands on holiday together. Being happy. Wow. Daily Express, this is dated Sunday, October 15, yesterday. Okay, Daily Express, you are obsessed. Let's talk about how they're going away on holiday without their children. Oh my god. And I'll leave you with this one because this must be Meghan and Harry's face when they see the UK media still obsessed with them.
The more that Harry and Meghan go out and about and be involved in their community, just to focus on their charitable work, the more people are seeing that they are not what the tabloids say, and that this is for people who haven't really been paying too much attention. They only get the highlights from the media, and I love that for Harry and Meghan. They've said what they needed to say, they've done what they needed to do, and now they're in the moving on era, and I love that for them.
I told her there's a lot of things that are happening in kids' homes, and it's not even going to get any easier with everything that's happening right now. One thing that I do know is that when kids are in playgrounds, they're happy. I said, can you help me figure out how to do this before?
Now, I don't know about you guys, but my timeline and my news has been full of information about the Palestine-Israel conflict. And what I've noticed is there is so much misinformation out there. I've been learning so much about the history, the context, the actual facts, and it just shows the importance of doing your due diligence and not taking the words of even the mainstream media as a fact. And it's so sad that this is a society that we live in, but there's so much misinformation out there. It just sort of reminded me of Harry and Meghan's work that they've been really focused on for the past few years, the misinformation from social media and from mainstream media as well. Now, besides the Palestinian-Israel conflict, I've been seeing a lot of discourse surrounding celebrity memoirs, and personally, I'm just glad that Harry has released his memoir in January because, my goodness, there's so much out there. A little bit too much, to be honest. Now, this week, the talk has been about Jada's memoir, or I'm sorry, Jada Pinkett Smith's memoir. And even when she's doing her press junkets, one of them quickly touched on the success of Harry's memoir.
Get the book and you get the story.
Get the book and you get the
story. Stop assuming.
You gotta get the book. You gotta get the book. That's the whole point. We want this to sell like Prince Harry.
It already is.
It's already off the chip. Now, you know Prince Harry moves some.
Now, on a lighter note, I've noticed that a lot of beauty and fashion sites have been writing about Meghan in a very positive light. And I've seen some people on social media, I think it was a Sussex squatty who was like, this particular magazine had wrote content about Meghan that was not true, that was like very negatively tinged, and I don't think that we should read or support or engage with that content. And I understand that, but on the other end, and you guys let me know what you think, I feel like it's important to engage and support the positive content and not just ignore it, because it shows these media sources that there is a huge market for people who just want the positive. We want the good, we want the facts. We don't need the trolling, nonsensical stories. And I feel like a lot of them have been doing that. We saw Meghan included on the best dressed list for Vogue. And I've been seeing a lot of magazines talking about her fall style, the caramel colored coats, latte makeup trends. Like, I feel like more and more, a lot of the media coverage from Meghan has just been very easy breezy, at least for the US.
Who's my Woman of the Year? Meghan Markle. She just one big middle finger to the British press in particular.
Now, we even saw Meghan's favorite shoe brand give a post dedicated towards the shoe that was made famous by Meghan. And of course, the comment section was littered with a lot of people who were saying, hey, that's the Meghan Markle shoe. I know of this because of her. So her impact as it relates to fashion and marketing still remains. But what I love the most is more and more, there's a lot of people who are saying, yes, the Meghan Markle style is wonderful, but she is all about philanthropy, all about women empowerment, all about giving back. And this is becoming the thing that is associated with the Meghan Markle brand. And I love that. I've even seen a few stories today on the timeline that was talking about, or I think it was one story, but people just kept showing a particular screenshot, talking about William and Kate being resentful that Harry and Meghan left, and how that's putting a rift on their marriage and putting a lot of pressure on them and putting a lot on their plate. And I'm like, you guys started this. Charles, Camilla, William, and Kate decided to throw Harry and Meghan under the bus for good press. So now you have two people who were excellent at the job, who were happy and willing to do the job, even offered to do it part-time. And you guys were so petty and so nasty that you said no. And not only did you say no, you went and took the only safe home that they had in the UK. We even saw two of the royal reporters talking about that this week.
Buying somewhere themselves, then security comes into play, doesn't it?
Personally, I think it was really poor form. I know Jobbo might hit me for this, but I thought it was really, I thought it was really poor form from the royal family and from Charles. For Harry asked to stay somewhere on the royal estate, Windsor Castle perhaps, because, then he could go to St George's. It was the anniversary of the Queen's death. And he was told no, because there were no staff, which I'm sorry, as we know, is ridiculous. He was told that he could go to Balmoral/Burke Hall. I think the King was in residence at Balmoral at that point.
He was. Yeah.
But, which would have been lovely, but they couldn't make the schedules work. Okay, fine. But what,
this is sad. There's Clarence House stuff.
Exactly, there's Clarence House, Frogmore Cottage is still empty. There's Clarence House, there's Windsor Castle. There's even apartments at Buckingham Palace. It is still being renovated. But there were places where Harry could have stayed and would have been protected. And I just thought it was really poor form that the King didn't make that happen for him.
And aside from needing a base for when he comes over to here for work or for his position as Councillor of State, what about the family? What about the children growing up in California, not knowing their British family, not knowing their cousins,
the King
their
is probably
similar
torn
ages?
on this. I'm sure the King is torn on this. Whenever he speaks, he always speaks about being a father, a grandfather. I'm sure he's torn on this.
We're always told the door is always open.
The door is open. I think he is.
But only if Harry makes the first move through it.
Yeah, but not even that. I think that the issue will be Queen Camilla and Prince William. I think that there's a real, what happened in the book that he wrote, Spare, about his father, I don't think the King came out that badly, to be honest. But I do think that William did, and I think Camilla did. And I think that the King, quite rightly, has taken that offence on what was said about his
wife and his elder son.
And William too. But I'm sure, like any dad, that really he must be very torn on this, and that he's not really seeing other grandchildren, and that's sad.
Really sad. He's only met Lily once, Lilibet, Princess Lily once, which was last May when Harry and Meghan and the children came over for the Platinum Jubilee. As we understand it, William, Kate and their 3 children have not even met Lily. And that's very sad, I think, for Archie.
You also have to remember that
the pettiness of it all. So obviously you're going to have more on your plate. Now, personally, I don't feel like they've stepped up to the plate. I don't see them doing even more engagements. When you really look at the numbers, people like Princess Anne are still and has consistently worked more than William and Kate. They're lazy. And for all intents and purposes, they've essentially been like part-time working royals, if you really look at it. So, if it's not the consequences of our actions kicking them in the butt, the British monarchy is steadily losing its splendor and support. The world that we live in now, particularly post-pandemic, is just so much tougher. You have cost of living crisis, you have inflation, now we have the Ukraine-Russian war, now we have the Palestinian-Israeli war. Like, people are just, it's different. It's tough. So people have a lot less patience for nonsense. And not just the British monarchy. I mean, I saw a video of the king and queen, I believe it's the Dutch king and queen, getting swarmed. And now I even saw a story of them possibly thinking about having Beatrice and Eugenie do some part-time work. But I thought they said that you can't be a part-time royal.
So let's take a look at all things royal related from the week that I haven't talked about yet. And when I say royal related, I mean royal related, because I'm going to start with the Middletons. Many of you have probably seen the articles over the past few months saying that the Middletons' business, Party Pieces, was forced to close after essentially going bankrupt. Reports say that they owe £2.6 million to creditors, suppliers, banks, their landlord, and many others that they did business with. The pandemic is said to be the blame for the company's financial problems, despite Party Pieces bringing in almost £8 million in profit between 2021 and 2022. Even with that profit, the company says that they had a loss of £900,000. And I'm not a business owner or an accountant, but it seems surprising that one bad year because of the pandemic could bankrupt a 36-year-old successful company, unless it was already having financial issues. But I don't really want to talk about their failed business. What I do want to talk about is the double standard and specifically the language used by the tabloids when talking about Kate's parents in comparison to when they talk about Meghan's mom, Doria. Apparently, those who the Middletons did business with have put up posters in their neighborhood about the money that they are owed, and the tabloids say that this is abusive, cruel, and even go as far as to call this a hate campaign. And aside from the fact that posters requesting someone be paid money that they are owed is nowhere near the actual hate campaign that Harry and Meghan have experienced, let's go back to the beginning, November 2016, when this article, written by Rachel Johnson, who is the sister of then Prime Minister Boris Johnson, was one of the first articles published after Harry and Meghan's relationship went public. Let's see how they talked about Doria from the beginning. Rachel Johnson wrote that Doria is a dreadlocked African-American lady from the wrong side of the tracks, and over the last 7 years, nothing has changed. The British tabloid media has continued to attack Doria, even going as far as calling her a drug dealer and a criminal. This article, from just last month, claims that Doria's steely influence is what ultimately caused Harry and Meghan to leave England. And yet, after years of lies and false claims made against Doria, the UK media has never once said that she was being abused or the victim of a hate campaign. And the reasons are obvious. 1, Doria is a black woman. There is no denying, particularly after the treatment of Meghan, that there is racism in the UK media. Also, the treatment of Meghan and Kate by the UK media has been extended to their parents. Kate is said to literally never put a foot wrong, and excuses are continually made for her failings. Those same excuses have been extended to her parents. How dare people hold them accountable for their own actions? Their daughter is the future queen. Whereas Meghan is criticized for every possible thing, often things she never did, and as we see, that treatment extends to Doria. And despite the UK media continuing to write hateful things about Harry, Meghan, and their family, in the same day, many of them are insisting that Harry and Meghan are looking to buy property in the UK. And while I'm sure that Harry does miss some of his friends and his home country, he has also said multiple times, even in an official court document, that he doesn't feel safe bringing his family to the UK without security, mainly due to the hate campaign the tabloids have waged against him. But really, I think this is just wishful thinking on the part of the tabloids and maybe even the British public, as it seems to be them who miss Harry more than Harry misses the UK. Harry has always been one of, if not the most popular member of the royal family, and even with their move to the US, that hasn't changed. Now, I know the UK loves a poll, but do they love data and statistics? Because pulling the latest Google search trends on any given day for Harry and Meghan and William and Kate always give the same results. Here are the results for yesterday. Google searches from just yesterday in the United Kingdom, the United States, and worldwide. It is Harry and Meghan who continually pull the interest of the public, which is also why we've been seeing articles like this. Headlines that say, King displeased by Prince Harry and Meghan's part-time royal status, slowly begins to associate Harry and Meghan with being part-time royals again. But also, there was this small change to Harry's bio on the royal family website. This update says that Harry and Meghan are continuing to honor their duty to the King, the Commonwealth, and their patronages. And this was only updated on Harry's bio. Meghan's bio still has the general statement of supporting the monarch. Harry and Meghan's official statement when they stepped back said they will continue to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. I have not seen an official statement where they say they support the king. And you could argue that Harry clearly does, as he went to the coronation. But this also feels like another way to connect Harry and Meghan to the current monarchy. The royal family needs all the positive publicity it can get, as all recent foreign visits have been carried out by people like Sophie and Edward and are getting absolutely no coverage. And William and Kate's team seems focused on copying Meghan's fashion and making William a sex symbol. Not to mention they seem to perpetually be on vacation or taking a break. And there are members of the Royal Rota who would deny that both Harry and Meghan are popular, with people like Angela Levin claiming that the public only cares about Harry. Although she is one of the main ones who can't stop talking about Meghan. Meghan. But one person who would disagree with Angela and clearly cares a lot, probably even too much about Meghan, is William. So much so that articles saying he is committed to finding Meghan Markle's missing engagement ring have been circulating for weeks. And I have to say, we don't know if this is even true, because the tabloids do lie often. But if my husband was that worried about another woman's engagement ring, I would have some questions for him. Especially when there are plenty of actual missing jewels from the royal collection that he could concern himself with. And some will say that he is simply worried because 2 of the diamonds were from Diana's collection. But while they do hold sentimental value, the diamonds are no longer Diana's. Harry chose to give them to Meghan, and they are hers now, and she can choose to wear the ring or not wear the ring whenever she wants. And what makes these headlines even stranger is that within the same article, it's explained that one of the settings on the ring came loose and they're having it fixed, which we have actually known since the Invictus Games when people shared the same information. This is not a new story, it doesn't make Meghan look bad, and if anything, it gives credibility to many people's belief that William has always been a little too interested in Meghan. But honestly, if William is a little too interested, it's easy to see why. And this week, Vogue agrees with him, as they place Meghan on their list of best dressed stars of the week after her appearance in New York City for World Mental Health Day. But while the media and William stay focused on Harry and Meghan stay focused on each other, returning this week from a trip to the Caribbean and, according to a new article in People, loving life as parents of 2. A friend said of the couple, Meghan is the best mom, and Harry is always on the floor playing with the kids. They are still such a team.
So, a few people in my comments are trying to compare Jada Pinkett Smith to Meghan Markle, and I swear y'all bring up Meghan Markle any chance you get to bash her. So people are trying to say that Meghan Markle is a narcissist based on who knows what, probably based on the press, the media, the tabloids, and these same people try to act like everybody else is stupid and has the shades over their eyes and, you know, that we're delusional when we believe Meghan Markle. Thing is, y'all believe everything that you read. You just believe what's in the papers and what's written about these celebrities. Yet, if something was written about you, let's say you had a popular friend who was like an influencer, and they put something about you in their story that was a complete lie, and people believe it just because they think someone with a lot of followers has high credibility, and it's a lie, what are you going to say? What would you say? That's a lie. They're talking about my character and it's not true, blah, 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 blah. And the tabloids are paid to talk about the royals. We know this. They're paid to just, you know, hear bits and pieces of stories and then make up their own narrative. So y'all think she's a narcissist because she is a productive woman who was in charity and making her own foundations and funds and blah, 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 blah. She's out there actually helping people. The people she's actually talking to face clearly like her. When she was on her tour with Prince Harry, everybody loved her. The family liked her. But she had to go through death threats, racist comments, not just on social media and in comment sections, but by the press, relating her son to a freaking monkey, and somehow she's a narcissist. Because I guess she took Prince Harry away from his royal status, not like he chose to do it. It's not like in his memoir, he talked about how he wanted to leave because of how he was being treated by his own family. The toxic family. But she's the toxic one. Now, if you want to compare Jada Pinkett Smith to Meghan Markle, let's compare. Jada Pinkett Smith has embarrassed Will Smith left and right for years. And nobody asked her to do it. That's the crazy thing. And she's going on these interviews and talking all this rah-rah without Will's input. Now, when Meghan Markle had her interview with Oprah, it was mostly Meghan, and then Harry came in at the end. So this wasn't without Harry's input. Then, when they had their Netflix documentary, where was Harry? Right beside her the entire time. That's what couples do. Real good couples that have common sense and are in a good marriage communicate together if they want to talk about something that represents their relationship. Jada is not doing that. Now, Harry also wrote a book, just like Will wrote a book. But when Will wrote his book, I was probably a child. I'm not going to read that. And I don't care to read it. Harry, his story was actually interesting because he's a prince that was leaving an established, hierarchy or system, a system that y'all love so much and couldn't fathom someone wanting to leave, but you know nothing about, but you hear words from a person who's actually been through it and you don't believe it. You just believe he's living with a narcissist and he didn't want to leave. He didn't actually want to leave the palace. Why would he want to do that? Jada Pinkett Smith has said how her husband hasn't satisfied her. She's talked about her cheating with a younger man, her son's own age. She has not supported or backed up her husband whatsoever, even after the Oscars slap. Now, basically, everyone can see that he slapped Chris Rock for nothing because she didn't even want it to happen. She thought it was a skit. And she's having these conversations not with her husband, but with all of us, the world. She has humiliated that man to his core. Has Meghan Markle done that? Has she talked about her what happens in the bedroom with Harry? Has she talked about her love for another man on multiple occasions and how another man is her soulmate, like Jada Pinkett Smith has? Has she talked about how she didn't want to marry Harry? No. She has not humiliated her husband. And y'all think Harry doesn't have a backbone when he left his position as a prince? How could that be any more of a backbone? Any less of a backbone? Any more of a backbone? Anyway, y'all are scarily stupid. The scary thing is you think that you're smart. And it's scary. It's concerning. It's concerning. Stop hating Meghan Markle because she's in a position that you wanted to be in, but you could never get to. And she happens to be black. And the thing is, she's not just black, she's also white. But you're like, I can't see myself in her because she has black in her. You didn't hate Kate like this. It's a poor comparison. Just let it go. Let it go. People who actually have sense, they like Meghan Markle. But it doesn't matter either way because we don't know her. We're not her friends. We're not in her life. Y'all just need to grow up. That's the thing. She's not a narcissist, and that's another thing. Y'all throw that word around so easily. You don't even know what a narcissist is. You just throw the word around. Stop it. And you're not all therapists. Stop that with that too. Y'all act like you have psychology degrees, and even the ones with psychology degrees are saying stupid things. Do you use that psychology degree? Probably not. So give me a break. Give it a rest. And one other thing, you know what? It's a poor comparison. Because y'all believe the tabloids who tell you these stories about Meghan Markle rather than the woman herself. With Jada, there are no tabloids. She's saying these things from her own mouth. Everything negative that we've heard about Will and herself came from her own mouth. She's jacking up her own reputation and the reputation of her husband by her own choices. Her own words, her own volition. It's all her. Whereas if words come out of Meghan's mouth, they can't be believed because the tabloids contradict it. Y'all don't make sense. It's a poor comparison, please.
So as we all know by now, because it was days ago, Meghan and Harry were spotted on vacation together. Because it was just the two of them and the child stalkers weren't able to see Archie and Lilibet, they went crazy. The children they believe are fake. They're always wanting to see them. And I think a lot of it is they still have this mindset of Harry and Meghan being a part of the royal family, and like the royal family kind of like it's almost an expectation that you see their children every now and then. But Meghan and Harry aren't a part of the royal family anymore. And they're also these people that you hate. So why are you invested in their private life? Archie and Lilibet could very well be there. They very well could not. And you know what? Parents, husband and wives, deserve time alone together and vacations together without kids, without responsibility. Now, not every husband and wife and every parent has the luxury to be able to take trips every now and then. But even if it's on a trip, it's healthy to have an amount of time to just be by yourself. It's healthy if you're in a relationship, husband and wife, partners, whatever the case may be, to have that time away from kids and foster your own relationship. We don't need an explanation on what they do in their private life. ever. And these people think they deserve explanations about everything. Part of the reason they don't show these kids is because of the very people who are obsessed with seeing their kids. I mean, these are people who, when she came out and spoke about how she was on the verge of taking her life when she was pregnant because she could not handle what she was going through, but they denied and mocked her mental health while she was pregnant with a child, but now they care about that child. Like, be for real. And then anytime we do get a picture of Archie in a little bit, they're supposedly borrowed children. So it's like, Meghan and Harry can't win when it comes to you wanting to see their kids, and they don't care. I just think it's so funny because they have not gotten it through their head that Meghan and Harry do not care about anything they say. They know the things that strangers say. They don't care. Like, they do not care about you. They don't need to prove anything to you. So it's just like, you would think, and I know these people aren't healthy, right? But it's like, at a certain point, it's like, when do you stop caring? Especially stop caring about people you do not know. What this couple goes through, the work they do, and the hate they still receive on a literal daily basis, they deserve any amount of time to spend with themselves that they need to. And no one needs to question where they spend their time, how long they spend their time. It's their time, it's their decisions, it's their relationship. You know, this person, shot a photo of them, but still gave them their privacy. And there's a bunch of paparazzi following them. Like there were other people there that still, respected their privacy. And it's nice to know that there are people like that see, not even just Harry and Meghan, but other celebrities, like random people might get some shots, but you don't see actual paparazzi shots, like that people respect people's privacy. And so, that's because of Meghan and Harry. They can be on an island. It doesn't matter. The paparazzi will get to them. They're a money-making couple. It's a business at this point. And I think doing this, especially during Mental Health Week and after, the heavy summit they had, it's the perfect time to get away. Because getting away from the normalcy of life, from the everyday responsibilities, helps your mental health, helps you get recentered. Archie a little bit could very well be back wherever they're staying with whoever they went with, or they could very well be at home chilling with Doria or whatever. But this helps with mental health, and the people that are obsessed with the fact that they are without children in this picture need help with their mental health, truly. And there comes a point where the people around them need to be like, listen, you're on the verge of, I would get a restraining order against you, so maybe you should chill out on Harry and Meghan. But most of these people don't have something that Meghan and Harry have, so they want to tear it apart. They want to criticize it whenever they possibly can, whenever they're literally spotted and not spotted. So they're miserable people. Harry and Meghan are not noticing these miserable people, and they're living their life, and that's what they deserve.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell.